A deal for Belle Isle, plus what happened to the Detroit Mayoral Campaign and how ugly, no-compromise politics affects us all. Stay put. MiWeek starts right now.
Michigan's turnaround is being powered by things we do better than anywhere else in the world. Today's global leaders routinely turn to Michigan to work on their most difficult problems. That's because the engineering talent in this part of the world is simply the best. So many possibilities lie ahead for Michigan's future. These opportunities are here and starting to happen. The vision for the new Michigan. Share it, talk it up, drive it home. Funding is also provided by Delta.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for MiWeek on our new night. I'm Christy McDonald. Hand-wringing over the government shutdown. Yes, it affects millions, but tonight we'll look at the frustration over ugly politics, why compromise is a dirty word, and what this says about our future. Also coming up tonight, the state moves in on a long-awaited deal for Belle Isle. It'll save the city a couple $1 million, and what kinds of improvements visitors can expect. And the Detroit Mayoral Campaign, choosing Detroit's next leader in the city and the state's most pivotal time. What was predicted to be a hard-fought, gutsy mayoral race in Detroit has turned into kind of a quiet campaign. Recent polls have put Mike Duggan up over 2-1 over Benny Napoleon. Is it too quiet? Is it over? That's where we start tonight. Joining me now are MiWeek contributors, Nolan Finley, the editorial page editor of the Detroit News, and Stephen Henderson, the editorial page editor of the Detroit Free Press. Gentlemen, good to have you.
Good to be here.
On a Thursday night.
Right,
exactly. On Thursday night, it's a great way to go into the weekend here on MiWeek. So let's start tonight talking about the mayoral race. What's going on? Why do I not hear much about it? It's so quiet.
It's really stunning. I expected this to be a very nasty, noisy race, and it may get that way yet, but you just aren't hearing much from either of these candidates. They've started going on TV, but it's almost like they're going through the motions of the campaign. There's no fire. There's no headlines coming out of this campaign. It's not making any news. We go days sometimes without writing about it, and you certainly almost never hear about it on the television news.
And you expect candidates to take a breath after the primary and start to re-energize, but this has been kind of strange, Stephen, for Detroit.
Yeah, but I think the numbers have something to do with it, right? Every poll shows Benny Napoleon badly behind, I mean, by as much as 20, 23 points. And then if you look at the fundraising discrepancies between the two of them, you know, he's raising about 1/10 of the money that Mike Duggan has been able to put together, and that's an imbalance that is going to play out in the
But did you expect him to
campaign.
just quit? I mean,
I don't think he's quit. He's just, what's he going to do?
I expect him to come out of the primary with a little more fire and with a change in his message to respond to this thumping he got. And it looked like he was so demoralized by that defeat, and it was a monumental whipping. If you look at it, he was beat by 20 points by a write-in candidate, and it seems as if he says, well, I got a job, why waste a whole lot of time and energy going after a job I'm not going to win?
Well, what's his messaging now? What's Benny Napoleon's messaging?
Well, he's sticking with the, I'm the hometown candidate, I've been here my whole life, I look like you, he keeps saying that kind of thing.
I'm black and he's not.
Right, I mean, that's really been the message the whole time. I thought, I did think he put together a decent neighborhoods plan that he released a couple weeks ago. Mike Duggan, though, has a neighborhoods plan that's equally as good. I think he feels like that's where he can draw the distinction, is that he's the local candidate, the guy who's been here, and Mike Duggan is the sort of interloper who shows up and decides he wants to be mayor.
Didn't he try that, though, during the primary?
Yeah,
and that obviously didn't work. Yeah. So if you're part of that campaign now, what would you say in this next month?
Well,
I mean, we're looking at just over a month.
I will say this, dealing with that campaign, for the endorsement process and the questionnaires and stuff, it's pretty disorganized. I mean, there's not a great sort of systematic management going on there, which of course worries me because, one of the things that I always do is I look at the campaigns. If you can't manage your campaign, how are you going to manage the city or the state once you're...
It's also the people you surround yourself with as well.
It's a real question mark.
And we get sort of spammed by emails from the Duggan camp every day. You
All the
almost
time.
never hear anything from the Napoleon camp anymore. I talked to somebody around the campaign, his campaign, just this week, who said, well, we never even get a phone call. We don't really know what we're supposed to be doing. And it just appears to me like he's given up. And I wonder, why he wouldn't worry about his own political future if he just gets trounced in this.
Well, what would
election.
his political future be otherwise? I mean, at first we all thought he was going to run for county executive and not mayor.
He still could.
Then he decided, well, I'm going to run for mayor. I think you preclude yourself as a serious candidate for county executive now if you get killed in the mayor's race.
I
What
agree.
job did you want?
I mean, I agree. But I would have thought he would want to put up at least a respectable fight so he could run from that county exec seat next year. He might win that.
Is it that Benny Napoleon's message so far isn't so strong and that it's pretty weak, or is it that Mike Duggan's message of I'm the businessman who needs to come in here and help turn things around, is that so powerful?
Well, it worked in the primary. I mean, it worked very well in the primary. I think one of Benny's problem is he got beat so bad in the primary, nobody really believes he can win. He can't raise any money. And it doesn't matter what your message is, if you don't have money, you can't get the message
and the
out.
money
How much money are we talking about that's out there right now?
Well, the report that got filed right after the election, which was when when it was due, Benny had raised about $40,000. Mike had raised $400,000. If you sort of play that out over the last couple of weeks, you're talking about, again, a real disadvantage that he's experiencing. There was also a lot of money set on the sidelines during the primary because people weren't sure
Wanted to wait and
Duggan
see.
could actually get onto the ballot. Now that money is starting to pour into the race, so he's going to be in a very good position to spend what he needs, and Napoleon won't.
And he's sort of transitioned his own conversation, his own messages. He's almost got a post-victory message he's putting out in interviews and whatever have you. He's launched his campaign now to unseat the emergency manager and put Mike Duggan in place. That's going to be a lot harder one to win for him. He's not going to do that.
Is there still apathy, do you think, among Detroiters in terms of this election, that what they vote, that they feel that won't make a difference, but in actuality, it'll make a huge difference in about a year
Well, I
from
think it's
now?
hard. Yeah, it's hard to get people to look at the long game, right, as opposed to what's in front of them right now. And my prediction is that we had a low but not horribly low turnout for the primary. I mean, it should have been much lower. My prediction for the general is that it won't pick up quite as much as it normally does, that we won't see the jump in turnout that you would normally see from August to November, and partially because I think people are a little disengaged. I think people think this doesn't matter that much, and the emergency manager's running things. So what difference does it make who I vote for mayor?
Gosh, I mean, that makes me want to tear my hair out, because that's disappointing to me, because in reality, if Kevin Orr leaves in about a year from now, it's going to be very important who the person is who is in the mayor's seat and city council. We haven't talked about city council.
But in fairness, I mean, this is a people who've had their democratic leadership stripped away. And now you're saying to them, hey, go out and get enthused about the democratic process. They're confused. There's some still angry. And a lot of others are saying, well, hey, things are progressing. Kevin Orr is doing this, this, and this. And, what do I worry about? Who's going to be mayor a year from now? We'll deal with that then.
Is Kevin Orr progressing?
I think you got to look at it two ways. One is restructuring the debt. The other is reorganizing city government. I think restructuring the debt, he's doing fabulously. I mean, he's come up with some pretty innovative ways to dig us out of that hole and get some people paid off and off our backs, and tell other people, look, we don't have your money. I think the reorganizing government thing is still a real question mark, and he has no experience. Previous experience with that. He's never run anything. The people he surrounded himself with have never run anything, and so I think that's a bigger challenge for him, and I think that's the challenge for the new mayor, whoever it is, to get in there and demonstrate that, look, I can help you out with fixing government so that when we transition back, things actually work.
So would you say that Kevin Orr is out of his growing pains? Do you think he's kind of started to hit his stride?
I think he's doing exactly what he needs to do. I would disagree with that assessment, Steve, about him being stalled or not knowing what to do. I think you look what's going on in the police department. That was just a mess, no matter who ran it, for decades. And they brought James Gregg in. James Gregg is putting the
done
right
some good
people in
stuff,
places.
yeah.
He's moving. People can see progress there. He is getting the city departments lined up. I think you're going to see over the next couple months some real changes there. I think this whole process of bringing in the federal grants money and setting
That's
up a
big.
structure to spend it, that is huge.
Yeah.
And
But that's
I
not
think
him.
you got to give him. It wouldn't be happening if he weren't there.
Well, that's true, but
And
he
I
didn't
think
do it.
that's huge, and I think you're going to see a lot of restructuring of government come out of that process.
All right, well, speaking of Kevin Orr and some of the deals that he's done, you know, this was a lightning rod for debate on state intervention, but this week, finally a deal to lease Belle Isle. Here are the details for you. The lease is for 30 years with 2 15-year options. The DNR will take over operations. There will be about $10 to $20 million in upgrades for the island in the next 3 years. There will be a vehicle entrance fee. That state park pass costs $11, but walkers, bikers, public transit riders still get in for free. It would save Detroit around $4 million a year. City Council still has to sign off on the deal or come up with a better one in 10 days. And it's interesting that we're talking about the election because both mayoral candidates came out and said, we do not like this deal. What's wrong with the deal?
Well, there's nothing wrong with the deal. It's the right deal, and the people support the deal. We did a poll last October when it was first shot down by the city council, and 66% of the people of Detroit said, take that deal. We want the state to take over because they understand that the island is not all it could be right now. The city doesn't have the money for capital improvements to maintain the park in the way it should be maintained. This thing's just a unique, beautiful park this close to a city, this close to an urban center, and it deserves better attention. And the state's promised $20 to $30 million over the next 3 years to put it back in shape. I think people are going to love this deal.
You know, I don't think that anyone would argue with the fact that Belle Isle needs to be cleaned up, but is this the right deal at this time? Has it been modified from last year where so many people complained about it in terms of city council
Well, I
members?
mean, there was no explicit dollar figure in the original deal about how much the state would spend. There were people who were sort of suspicious of that and thought that made it a bad deal. There's some money in this one. I think it's going to cost you more. I think once you get in there and look at it, I mean, Belle Isle is a real mess in terms of just the infrastructure improvements that need to be done. It sinks into the river naturally. The city has not had the money over the last 5 or 10 years to sort of abate that, and so you're behind on that in a way that, you know, if you go out there after it rains, you're driving through the river,
Mud,
essentially, right? You got to fix that, and it's a very complex system that works to do that, and it's not working. So, I mean, I think you're in for way more than $20 million.
Well, you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone if you would sell like passes to let goose hunters on that island to kill those goose. You cannot step a
Geese
foot.
are taking
The
over.
Goose Lovers Society, please email Nolan right now.
Geese are taking over, although I will say that the swans who live there naturally and were there before the geese are fighting the geese pretty
might be
aggressively.
fun to watch.
Yeah,
Maybe we could
It's a
take
little West
bets,
Side
you know?
Story over there near the yacht club.
Okay, sharks and jets aside, let's talk about the fact that, you know, maybe City Council might not agree with this deal, and already both Benny Napoleon and I think Mike Duggan have reached out to council members to say what kind of better deal could they put together to prove to the state that they've got a better idea. And why are you laughing?
Money.
And that's just grandstanding. I think the council will approve it. If they don't, I think it'll go in anyway, because the truth is they can't come up with a better plan. If they could come up with a better plan, it'd been on the table already.
Well, see, and this is the big story in Detroit over the last 10, 15 years. If you had an idea for fixing Belle Isle, nothing stopped you from doing it.
That's right.
Before the emergency manager even got here. They don't know how to do it, and to be fair, they don't have the money. I mean, you're talking about an enormous amount of investment that island needs just to get back to a decent level. You know, you couldn't borrow the money as the city of Detroit to do that.
So if you're saying that this is a no-brainer, is this what basically you guys are saying?
I think it is.
take the
What else are
deal.
you going to do?
I mean, it's a good deal
So
for
if-
everybody. You
so-
get revenue and you get a better park.
So if you're saying this is a no-brainer, and as the state, the DNR, the governor, Kevin Orr, hey, this is a great deal, but you have both of your mayoral candidates who say this is not a good deal. We need to restructure this. As the governor, are you concerned about now watching these 2 mayoral candidates and who you are going to have to work with after the election is over? That if they're not going to go on this deal, and if this seems to be a no-brainer, then
You gotta
what
be
other
worried
things?
to death. I mean, because you're going through all this work, all this expense to put Detroit in a position where it has a chance to succeed. You're wiping away the debt, you're restructuring the government to make it more efficient, and then you're turning it over to the elected officials again, and you're trusting that they'll carry on these reforms. I suspect the governor, I think the emergency manager law has provisions for this, that there's a longer term sort of oversight that's involved here, but someday it all comes to an end, and you're going to have the same folks who got to see her in the first place running things. And you got to be worried.
I think you have different concerns. With Benny Napoleon, he's pandering, right? He doesn't have an idea for this. He has no idea. He doesn't have the beginning of an idea about how to fix Belle Isle. And if he did, we'd have heard about it by now. Duggan, on the other hand, thinks he does have an idea, and it points to a real problem with his view of that job and of leadership. I mean, his objection to Belle Isle is that he said to me, I'm not running to be mayor of the city of Detroit to have somebody else run the city. He has this very grand vision of the mayor's office, almost a throwback to the sort of Richard J. Daley style of leadership in Chicago, where you control everything and you don't share power with anyone. If I'm the governor, I'm very concerned about that, because that's not a very workable model given the way cities function now.
If I'm Kevin Orr, I'm very worried about that, because Mike does want to be boss Mike here, and he is not going to sit quietly on the sidelines for a year and say, and collect a paycheck and say, hey, call me when you need me. Kevin Orr is extraordinarily worried about what role Mike Duggan's going to try to play and how much he's going to get in his way, oppose everything he's done. He could be a real pain in the butt for.
I'm hopeful that he won't take that approach.
Yeah,
that
but
he will. Yeah, well, I know. I'm hopeful that what he will do is try to say, look, let's figure out a way to get this done. But
if the emergency, hang on,
the governor is going to have to step in there and is going to have to talk to Mike, and they're going to have to do something to keep him from trying to be this shadow mayor, this opposition mayor, because that ego is going to be hard to package into a small role for the next
But
year.
if the emergency manager law is so cut and dried, then there isn't really a huge role for Mike Duggan. But you think that he, in a PR campaign kind of way, could make trouble?
Well, sure, that's it.
Here's the issue is that the EM law is pretty ironclad, but at some point you are planning to turn control back over to the Democratic leaders, and so you've got to include him in the process to have him ready to do that.
All right. Well, let's turn now to the government shutdown. We've all been talking about it all week long. It affects millions of people. Michigan is losing $18 million a day. But let's look beyond the shutdown and the debate over the Affordable Care Act. People are talking more about the nastiness in Washington, the no compromise, the ugliness in politics, and is what's happening in Washington. Is it also that same ugliness here in Michigan? So I just want to start off with the conversation of, is this the nastiest or the most partisan that we have been in a long time?
No. I mean, it's always thus, and every time we get to this point, we act as if the seams are coming apart. This is politics, and it's a messy, nasty, ugly process to watch, but it does work, and it does eventually lead to positive action, or at least results. I mean, this is no worse today than it was during the Clinton years when they were trying to impeach a president and calling him everything, and government was more or less stalled in its track. They eventually got through it and got things done. At the end of the Bush presidency, you had Nancy Pelosi standing up and saying, we're not going to work with him, we're going to disregard him, he doesn't matter here. This happens in Washington, but we get through it, and eventually we get things done.
All right, so you say this is politics, this is how it works, and it's a process, but I think there are Americans sitting, or people sitting here in Michigan and saying, this is proof that it doesn't work, that this arguing now has come to such a point where you can't say, wow, I was wrong, or else you're just run out. You always have to be right.
Well, I mean, there's no question that the shutdown is a failure of stable governance, right? If you can't operate in the government, you have
then
failed,
it's not working.
right? And that goes to everybody involved. Now, what I think is different here is, and it's not unique in our history, but it is more anomalous, is the fact that you have a minority of a minority exercising majority power.
Talking about the Tea Party.
Right? You have a minority faction of a minority party shutting down the government. That's not the way this is supposed to happen, and that is actually sort of counter to the way the Republic was set up. Now they're able to do it because their leadership can't stand up to them because they fear the power that they have. And you know, I wrote a column this week about how, yes, the Tea Party is the most obnoxious wing of this sort of conservative faction in our government, but some of what they're saying appeals to a lot more people than who vote for them. And so that's why they have the power that they do over their leadership. That's why Cantor and Boehner cannot get them to back down.
Because they know what the people want.
Nolan?
They know the people don't want to see this continued spending spree in Washington with no regard
People
to
don't
debt
want
and
that.
deficits.
That's true.
So they've got a message that resonates. I thought this was a stupid tactic because I think, you know, they made it about Obamacare. Obamacare was coming apart very nicely on its own. They were winning that argument. You had growing public pressure and public opposition. They should have let that go on and made this fight about debt and deficits in a couple weeks. They went too early. But the Tea Party is no different in its control of the Republican Party as a minority wing than the unions are over the Democrats as a minority wing. They're not also representative of the broad Democrats.
One of the differences.
But
Hang on one second. Go ahead, finish.
You know, ultimately, a deal is going to come out of this. You look now today, we've got for the first time in more than a decade, the deficit shrinking,
yes.
Spending shrinking. Why? Because these folks forced the deal on the sequester 2 years ago, or in 2011. And, you know, so at some point, it's, as I said, it's messy, but you do get results. It does work.
Can you really compare the Tea Party to the unions?
No. Well, first of all, you know, the Democrats are a majority party, so it's not the same thing, right? They got the most votes in the presidential election. They got the most votes in the Senate election. They got the most votes in the congressional election last year. And if not for the gerrymandering that's been done in so many states.
If my aunt had different parts, she'd be my uncle.
Well,
Steve.
but if you get the most votes, you should have the most seats.
You didn't win. You didn't win the House.
I'm talking about
Okay.
votes.
Hang on. Go ahead. Finish.
I'm talking
Is
about
that how our
how
system
people
works?
feel. They're a majority party, so the comparison doesn't work there. But it's also true that the unions don't threaten to shut everything down if they don't get their way. And when they do, the leadership says, hey, you know what? We're not doing that. So you got to sit down and we'll move on.
Let me ask you this, Nolan. Say we get over this hump again, and we will, you say, eventually. How hard does it make it to get other deals done? Because it feels like a lot of these relationships are on shaky ground.
Well, I mean, and they are on shaky ground, but you have to remember why we reached this point, why we're here passing a continuing resolution. This president hasn't gotten a budget in place for 5 years now. He's the first president to go a full term without having a budget in place. So we're lurching from spending crisis to spending crisis because we don't have a budget. It's the lack of leadership from the top that creates chaos in the organization. That's true in government, it's true in business, it's true in sports teams. This guy has built no relationships with Congress, and he's created this extraordinarily hostile environment.
As we start to wrap up, Stephen, let me ask you this. Are we the same in Michigan? Do we have the same kind of contentious working relationship in Lansing that they have in Washington?
Well, I mean, in Michigan right now, Republicans enjoy the kind of majority status that Democrats do at the national level. So they don't have to bargain at all with the other side in Lansing.
No, they don't.
Hang on.
Different. They control both houses.
Right.
In Michigan,
They do control both
Only
houses.
one house in Congress, and you can't dismiss the fact that they
I
control the
understand.
House. You have to deal with the opposition.
understand.
All right, Stephen, you get the last word on this one.
The issue is, this is no way to run a railroad, right? Everybody agrees on that. You can't have the government shut down. We've got to move past this. I think you have to have the larger debate about what the role of government is going to be, how big the government is going to be. Democrats are winning that argument in national elections. Republicans don't like it. They're going to have to learn to sort of work together to figure out how we get forward.
Why can't we just hold hands and have a cup of coffee? All right, it's time now for headlines. All right, so it's the time of the show. We take a look at some of the other quick headlines that caught our attention this week. Nolan, what did you see?
Well, we had a report out from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Control, the UN agency that monitors global warming. And I just can't believe it wasn't a huge headline in every newspaper, because what it said was the Earth hasn't warmed in 15 years. You'd have thought everybody would have been screaming, global warming, stop. Instead, these folks came out again and says, gosh, we've got to, we've all got to go back to hunting and gathering because the earth is burning up. So
it's all going to end.
Win with these folks.
You're going to suffer the most when it gets hot. Watch.
He likes that
I
weather.
want to make sure.
82 degrees in October, I'll take it.
That's
right.
beautiful.
It's not hotter, though.
No. All right, Stephen, what did you see?
Next week, we have a final chapter in the Kilpatrick saga.
Are you sure it's the final chapter? Because I've seen the final. It feels like the final.
This is the last frame, right?
Yeah.
The sentencing for Bobby Ferguson and Kwame Kilpatrick are scheduled for next week, and I think the number is going to be pretty eye-popping.
What do you think it's going to
What do
be?
you think?
North of 30 years, maybe.
Good Lord.
That's what the
30
prosecution
years.
recommended for Bobby Ferguson was 30 to life. So
Mass murderers don't get that kind of time.
Wow, there you go. And the one thing that I saw this week, I thought of you, Nolan, since you like to ride your bike around all nice nature areas, is now in the House in Lansing. They were hard at work making sure, talking about a bill that when you make a right turn signal for bike riders, you can now use your right hand. You don't have to use your left hand.
left
Aren't you
over.
glad
Exactly.
we have a full-time legislature?
Aren't you glad they're working hard for us? And that is going to do it for MiWeek. Thanks so much for joining us on our new day. You can catch us every Thursday night at 7:30 right here on Detroit Public TV. And if it's the first time that you've joined us, welcome. Make sure you check out what MiWeek is all about at MiWeek.org. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. For all of us at Detroit Public TV, I'm Christy McDonald. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next Thursday.
Business Leaders for Michigan is dedicated to making Michigan a top 10 state for jobs, personal income, and economic growth. Learn more at businessleadersformichigan.com. Funding is also provided by Delta,